Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. I'm in the middle of this most wonderful week of interacting with such creative, amazing people who are part of the Garden State Film Festival in so many different capacities, from directors and writers and producers and actors and actresses and musicians, which where we're at right now. And I'm so deeply honored and thrilled with this. And I had a chance to watch the music that was created in the video of Gloucester Fisherman, which we're going to talk all about. It's like my head was spinning, and how this and the music and the narration, James, how it emoted me and moved me. I'm shutting my phone off. We live in this crazy world, and I have to shut it off. Perfect. Sorry about that. But it's so I'm with Christina Dempsey and Philip Curcuru and James Cirabella. How did I do? I did pretty good.
Great.
Perfect. Very good.
And they're part of the Atomic Age Project, and they have a resume that's not to be believed. My goodness. An amazing resume, the music, the narrative, all of it, the work that you've done. And we're going to talk about all that. And watching this, I saw the perfect storm, and it kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit to what Gloucester Fishermen have undertaken and what they've gone through. I don't know how many, and I've done my research, and I'm an old timer. We do research. 10,000 people are gone because they fished for us. So
Right.
such powerful emotions. And I'm telling everybody out there to really watch this, because you're gonna feel, when I watched, you're gonna feel such emotion and sadness in this wonderful narration, and the music that you created was magnificent.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, hey, listen, you know what? I'm an old timer. I call it as I see it. Um, and wow, did I see it, and did I hear it? Enough with my monologue. How about if Christina start off and do a little background, a little bio, and then we're gonna jump in to your world.
Sure. My name is Christina Dempsey, formerly Christina Kikura, because I'm Phil's daughter. I sing some, there are some vocals on there where me and Jimmy have a duet on there, but mostly it's background vocals. And so I contribute a lot to all of that. And I really just enjoy any chance that I can get to, sing because I do enjoy doing that. And in your day to day, it's not something you get to do very often. It's a very special thing that I always feel very proud to be a part of.
Right. Philip.
My name is Philip Curcuru. I'm a co-director of all of our stuff, a composer for the music, editor, and just basically all around creative guy that loves doing this stuff, as you know. And it's something that you can't stop doing because if you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're an author, you can't stop doing that stuff. It's in you. It's part of your DNA. And I just continually do it. And even though at times life gets in the way of it, you still put it away for a while. A funny story, Jimmy and I grew up together, but there was a point in our friendship that we were bringing up families as young men, and the guitar had to be put away for a while. So after about 20 or 25 years went by, I picked it up again, started writing, and along with my friend Lenny Misericordia, sadly he passed away in 2010, we made little short films, comedies, and I wrote the end credit song to that little short, and I called up Jimmy after 25 years and I said, Jim, I have a song. Could you sing on it? And it's like no time went by. It was like a time machine.
Uh-huh,
And I'm
uh-huh.
sure, Jimmy can go into that and discuss that, but that's what I'm all about.
Okay, James.
Well, Yeah, I'm James Sorabello, and I've been singing pretty much my whole life. And when I met Phil, it was when we lived around the corner from each other in Brooklyn. He on Avenue F, and me on East Fifth Street, and I was best friends with his cousin who lived in his house. So we had a lot of time together growing up. And when I started my first band, we needed guitars because we were going to take a publicity picture. And I thought, oh, Phil has a guitar and he could be in the band. So I invited Phil to come over and we took the picture. And that was the only time we were in a band together. That
Wow.
was it. But
P.S. I didn't know how to play the instrument yet. I just owned it.
yeah, but the connection has always been there, and we've always followed each other's careers when we were playing together and separately. And his band had some of my good friends in it, and my band had his brother in it, and his brother played drums, and unfortunately, sadly, passed away. And we think about him often and wish he were here. And so it was a natural thing to get together again, and it was very comfortable. So much so that it was just second nature. Since that day, we've done many
Right.
films, award-winning films,
Yeah.
uh, believe it or not. And much to Phil's credit, he's pretty much a genius in what is his studio, and he's meticulous in his attention to detail in every aspect of his songwriting and production. It's mind-boggling what he's able to do. And I just sing, that's it. He gives me the chance to do my vocal and I try to run with it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's not hard with him.
So I'm kind of piecing things together here. You guys have been well. You just kind of really said it. You've been friends for a long, long time,
Our
and
whole life.
and you've been doing this kind of work. So, what inspired you to write Gloucester Fisherman? You can see that.
Well, my father was in the fish business for a retail fish business for 60 years in Brooklyn. And he had cousins in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and he would tell me stories on the fishing and the boats and how dangerous the fishing was, the commercial fishing. And I grew up with that. And my father was fish. He was just fish. He ate fish. Hence, he lived to 95 years old.
Wow.
My mother lived to 94. So they both ate fish. And he had a big sign up in the store, eat fish, live longer. He was right. So I think that whole story about Gloucester and the fishermen and that whole trade was in my soul. It was part of my DNA. So it was really visceral. It came out when it needed to come out. And it was really an easy write. It wrote itself. And along with my daughter, Christina, and Jimmy singing the song, and I knew he hit it out of the park as soon as he finished that session. I think it really captured that whole business about Gloucester and the sadly all the
Yeah.
fishermen lost at sea.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if we said this, I don't know if we said this beforehand, but my research reading, 10,000 people lost their lives.
Yes.
And that's incomprehensible. That's fighting a major war. If you
Well,
think about it.
Gloucester is the oldest fishing port. 1623,
Wow.
it started, and they just celebrated their 300th and 400th anniversary. Uh, so that's huge. The
Yeah.
man at the wheel was erected in 1923, 1925, I'm
This is
sorry.
this is the statue here that you're talking
Correct.
about, the man in the moon.
And the man at the wheel celebrates the 100th anniversary this year.
Okay.
So it's a great story, and it's a wonderful monument, and it's really very
Yeah.
fitting for what
Yeah.
these men and women went through.
Some of
Yep.
the names on the actual statue are relatives of Phil and Christina.
Yeah.
Wow.
And most people, you don't think that, right? Most people think fishing is like relaxing. You're going to sit in a boat, you're going to kick back, you
Not
know,
relaxing.
and it opens your eyes to a lot of things that you wouldn't normally know or realize how much goes into how you get, you're sitting there enjoying dinner, what it took to get there, right? Like you just think it's easy, but it kind of opened up the doorway to that too, which is interesting.
Off topic, did you all I guess you all appreciated, The Perfect Storm, that movie.
Yes.
Because that was such a powerful thing for me. I saw it once, and listen, I've watched Casablanca 200 times. I like a movie, and I really like that movie, but I won't watch it
Mm,
again because
no.
it's too horrific for me to watch that. There's such wonderful personalities, like George Clooney, and but and to face that, and the whole depiction of life on a fishing boat, it's rough. It's
That's
rough.
an understatement.
Yeah. Who else is in the Atomic Age Project, your group?
Jim?
Um, our keyboard player, Lou Di Natale, is another one of our friends forever. In fact, Lou and I go back to 1969. We shared a loft in Brooklyn. He had a band in one room, I had a band in the other room, but we didn't pay attention to his band because to me or to us, they were little kids because there's a 3 year age difference. And in those days, from 19 to 17 is like a
Mhm.
lifespan. We never even spoke to each other. But we did become friends when we reunited in the Atomic Age Project. From that, Lou and I now play in a band. Started out as a trio, now it's 5 piece called Peace Train. So that's all due to the Atomic Age Project, and it's an offshoot of that. Yeah. So Lou is an incredible musician.
Tell them about your drummer.
So the drummer we just added in the band is actually just finished his 20-year stint with Dion from Dion and the Belmonts,
Sure.
which
Wow.
yeah, which is again mind blowing to me that I have him in my band because he's incredible,
Great drummer.
great drummer. So it's just a remarkable journey. Everything we've done, it's hard to imagine that at this time in our lives, when most of the stuff that we do, we would think, no, it's not really relevant anymore. Nobody pays attention. That we get all this attention, it's remarkable. But it shouldn't be as much as a surprise to me because of the talent of the man sitting next to me. I mean, just remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get it's a film. There's probably a film about your journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
It
think about.
wouldn't surprise me.
I'm
It's
just
been
throwing that
very
out. Just
You do the
listening.
music, Dad. You got to write the music.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah,
your own.
Start tonight.
just listening. It's funny when I quote left Luxottica and became a journalist literally overnight. One of my first gravitations was to cover, music in the Asbury Park scene. Because I mean, listen, you're priceless musicians, but I found myself stuck with Peter, Paul, and Mary all these years. A little Bruce, a little Simon and Garfunkel, but problem. So my son used to nudge me all the time to broaden my horizons, and he said, "Now you have the opportunity, Dad, to cover music." And so I found myself in Asbury Park like 2, 3 nights a week, expanding my horizons and loving and learning. So anyway, um, so you're participating in the Garden State Film Festival, and you've been doing that since 2014, and I think
Yeah.
you've won 6 awards there. So I guess you love it, right?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Our first was a Beatles tribute, Forever Fab, a Beatles tribute that was in 2014. And I'll never forget it. I think it was the beginning of January. I think it was January 2nd or 3rd. Um, I'm just reading my emails and something from the Garden State Film Festival popped up, and I'm saying I'm reading it. I'm saying you are the winner of the movie music competition, and I almost literally fell off my chair.
Um,
So that was our first with Diane and Lauren and the rest of the team. And uh, humbly, this is our sixth win there. This is our third consecutive movie music win.
Cool.
Um, I can't tell you how it feels because with the Garden State Film Festival, I don't have to tell you, Diane and Lauren and the rest of the team run a class show, and we are so proud and privileged to be a part of it, let alone even be winners there. I mean, just being selected
Sure,
there is a
sure.
major, major honor. So there's nothing I can't say enough about the Garden State Film Festival. They're wonderful.
And from my vantage point, uh, uh, and having been involved in that and understanding, we'll talk maybe at the end, we'll talk a little bit about the world of indies, but it's an indie thing, uh, coinciding to a whole new explosion of film activity here in New Jersey. Uh, in 3 years, Netflix is going to pop down 900 million to build a studio.
Yeah.
That's serious. Did you know that, Christina?
I didn't know that.
No,
I
not.
didn't know that.
They bought a chunk of land where they used to have the old Fort Monmouth
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Eatontown, and I mean, it's a done deal. Governor Murphy here likes film, and I guess he cut them a lot of tax breaks, which is perfectly fine. So New Jersey's going to have a major production studio, and I heard rumors that somewhere else they're going to put another one, and the best director from Honora, Jersey Boy,
Mm.
and next week Spielberg is shooting a film in Middlesex County. So the rumblings and the things that I see from my little chair here is New Jersey's well on its way to becoming, a significant hub. Good for all of us because we're all, you guys involved, and so much more is going to be happening here. A lot of people forget that Edison invented, the movie camera,
Hmm.
and back in 1900, give or take, there were, I don't know, hundreds of film studios up in Fort Lee, hundreds. And then some wise guy came over from California, call him a wise guy. I don't know who it was, but he said, "Let's everybody move to California." So everybody moved to California. End of story.
Mm.
So, but it's coming back anyway. Moving on.
It's
Um,
come full circle.
yeah, yeah. Um, you guys been you as the Atomic Age Project have been honored with a couple of dozen best song music videos from a lot of different countries. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's amazing.
You want to take that?
Well, it's amazing. And yet, when I see the work that goes into it, because he's nonstop, you
All the
know,
time.
yeah, I mean, he does things in the studio that he holds together with scotch tape. It's like a 20-year-old computer that most people would never have kept. And yet he does everything on it. And the fact that he's self-taught in filmmaking is even more remarkable because his editing skills are meticulous. Um, I can't say enough about him. I can't say how happy I am to see the success for him, especially because he works so hard at it. I come in, I sing, that's fine. All the work is done by Phil. I mean, just countless hours. And it doesn't surprise me that competing with the world where I'm sure the budgets are outlandish, what he does with our big budget of maybe zero
A couple
Yeah.
$100.
is just remarkable. Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because you think about it, and like when you hear all that about how many awards, like you can't help but like we laugh, and it's not because we're like, oh, like it's funny to us because we're like just regular people. Like we're not, you can tell, like just very like laid back, and so to us, it is like almost like funny, haha, can't believe it type feeling. And so like it's one of those things like you never imagine, like in all these things coming in, like the world is so big and you don't even realize it until you're winning from all different
Yeah,
parts, you know?
exactly.
It's an incredible thing. Um, to even, be involved in New Jersey, let alone all these other places, you
Right.
know?
I mean, that's like instant credibility that, you're beyond the shores here and it's all over, uh, all over the world. I think that's huge. And I'm honored, to be with you guys,
Thank you.
I
We
think
feel the same about you,
Yeah.
Calvin.
it's great. It's really great. And, quoting one of my, film heroes, Clint Eastwood, just twisting it around, you made my day, guys. So you kind of touched on it, and if there's anything else you want to add, but I'm research, the Gloucester Daily Times is going to do a whole feature on you guys, and if there's anything else you want to say about that and about the work you did and about this incredible statue. It's just by the way, it's Dunkin' Donuts says, come to Dunkin' Donuts is worth the trip. So barring that, it really is worth the trip to go up there. And it's funny, my wife said to me this morning, uh, our close friends, she's kind of retired and stuff, and she said, we're looking for, date, what a great day or two trip to go up
Yeah,
there.
that's like
But
we looked at
uh,
how far. My husband and I looked at how far it would be, and it's not too far
oh,
to
five,
to
six
drive
hours?
there. Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
No.
Listen, you can spend 5 or 6 hours going down to Jersey Shore on a Saturday in the summer. So
Yeah.
what the hell? So is there anything, I mean, anything else you wanted to add about uh the statue and how poignant it is, or we
It is poignant, and I'm just so proud that this project is honoring these brave men and women that they fight the seas every day, and also the thousands and thousands of men and women lost at sea. So this project, I was hoping that it would touch people in that way, and I feel so fulfilled that I think it did,
Great,
and I'm happy about that.
great.
So much of what we do is our tributes to begin with. I mean, almost every song that we've done has been a tribute to someone or something. And so there's always some emotional attachment to everything we do. It's just not writing a song about, being in love. It's about writing a song about some reality that affected us, that touched us. Um, when Phil wrote about the Beatles, it wasn't just a Beatles song; it was a tribute to the Beatles.
And Brando.
And Marlon Brando, when we did Wild One, Marlon Brando, again, an award-winning
Yeah,
song.
2019.
Yeah.
We won the
Wow.
best.
So
Best
so
song.
and then tributes to people we know, like we did a tribute to his brother Joe. It
Brooklyn
was called
Charlie.
Brooklyn Charlie, and personally singing that was just so much of an honor for me that to sing about our brother, because he was as much as a brother to me as he was to Phil, even though we're not actually related, we are brothers. And after all this time, we can't just be friends anymore. We have to be related. His mom was my aunt. My mom was his aunt, that we would call them aunt and
Yeah,
uncle. I mean, it's remarkable
yeah.
what this journey has been for us. And even in the song we did a song called
Old days.
Old Days, which had us visiting Brooklyn and going through our childhood. And it was a simple setup. I was in the front, Phil was in the back filming it. And as we traveled through Brooklyn, we were talking about all the memories that came up. And then in the song, which he writes, and he's so perfect at writing just exactly what's needed. It's never anything that, yeah, we didn't need that part. Everything fits. And then in doing the video, we had people in it that we've since lost. Like
Yeah.
a mutual friend of ours was the drummer, and you see him in it, and I'm going, that's so sad, but it's so. We had more attention for that I would walk through the streets and get recognized because so many people watched it and related to it. Because even if you didn't live in Brooklyn, it was the same feeling that you get when you return to your old neighborhood.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody, any neighborhood. It's instantly relatable. And and it helps so much to have, Phil's beautiful daughter, who I said I wouldn't be on the show unless she's on the show.
Me too.
It's funny you said because you're talking about old days just in general and talking about how people relate to it and people can think, well, I remember how a time when I felt that way. But it's not just about like people who have lived and have all these memories. It's also what's living like now, which is my son is 9 and that's his favorite song. He's always singing that song. And
Wow.
I really like this song. This is my favorite song
Wow.
that Grandpa plays. And he's 9. So, I mean, he's sort of an old soul in his own right.
And
That's
John
where
too.
yeah, my husband too, like same thing. Like it's just, it touches people in a different way. And you got to take all of those experiences, emotions, and feelings and put them somewhere, right? Which is what he does, right? But,
Yeah.
and that's what all the singing does is you got to, especially if you're a creative person, like there are people who can just sort of, and you don't realize it. If you are a creative person, you don't realize you're one until people are impressed with you. Like you're just like, oh, this is just who I am, right? Like I have to express myself in some way, shape, or form. And in this way, all these people we lost and all these things we're excited about come out in just a different way, whereas somebody else would write a book or somebody else would, talk to a friend. It's just all different ways of expressing yourself. And this is just, one way that we do it. And my dad does it so perfectly.
Well said.
Yeah, that was a magical word you said, Christina. Creative. In my novel, show it again. I spend hundreds of pages talking about this thing that was stuck and said it's my journey, even though it's fiction. But it's this thing called creativity that's stuck and it wants to get out, and it's locked up, and so there's a lot of rough seas using a fisherman. There's a lot of rough seas
Right.
in the
Yeah.
character and in me to find a way to get that creativity out. A couple of off topic, really off topic, and it's kind of a cute question. You don't even have to answer it, but I like it, and again I borrowed it, and I use it all the time. So here goes. Excluding a family or friends, somebody living or dead you'd like to spend a day with. So let's start, Christina.
Well, let me see.
There's
It's a
no
tough
rules
question.
here. What you
Tough
can,
question. But I think that if I, was thinking about like what kind of shaped me and things that people like that you enjoy talking to, I think Mr. Rogers is somebody that I would want to spend the day with because
That's nice.
I spend so much time, the kids, especially I have a young child, so you see what's on TV today. Nothing compares to what, you were raised with there with Mr. Rogers, right? It was you learned about being a person and you learned about that it doesn't always work out the way. I saw this great story about him the other day. It was somebody was on the show and they wanted to show this like it was actually this new technology that you could put the microphone in the water and hear a fish talk, hear the sounds they make. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out where they couldn't hear the fish, you couldn't hear it, and the woman they just, switched to a clip. And he went and he watched it back, and they were like, "All right, are we going to redo it over? Is it TV? Let's we have to try again." And he says, "No, we're going to leave it." Because basically what he wanted kids to know, and he didn't say this outright, but he just wanted them to know that even adults don't always get what they plan. Life doesn't always go the way you plan it. Even if you want this amazing thing to happen, it doesn't always work out that way. So instead of re-recording it for TV, he decided to go with a different lesson in a very subtle way. He didn't even mention it,
yeah.
but he's all these stories about him just being a beautiful person. I think that we need more of that. So I think that's who I would
That's
spend
great.
some time
Great
with.
answer. Great
Wow.
answer.
I'm impressed, Christina.
That's why she's here, Calvin.
Yes. Great answer. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Phil.
Well, I can give that answer very, very quickly. George Martin, producer of the Beatles.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
you could pick any one of the Beatles because they're the soundtrack of our lives. But George Martin puts it all together. And I'd like to spend 24 hours with him just to ask him a few questions, but it would be George Martin.
Okay, that's great. James.
Yeah, I'm like, I go, here's my problem. I'm a visual artist as well as a musician, so I have a lot of trouble deciding whether I wanted to spend time with, say, Leonardo da Vinci, just sitting with him to watch the way his mind worked, or like an old idol,
Eric Burden.
Eric Burden. Yeah, Eric Burden would have, the Animals were
The
one of the
animals.
big influences on me in my first band. We used to do all that stuff, and I don't know if you could hear it in my voice, but a lot of that soulfulness comes from imitating that stuff when I was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those people that influenced me, I would just like to hang out with them. Once I had a band and we opened for the Iron Butterfly. And the band went back to the hotel and I had to stay with the equipment, just to watch it. And I was hanging out with the keyboard player, lead singer of the Iron Butterfly. And and it bothers me to this day that I didn't have a conversation with him. I mean, I sat there and watched them, didn't speak to him. I was way too shy. And I kick myself in the butt all the time thinking, oh, I should have spoken to him. Things like that, those missed opportunities.
Yes. Yes. Missed opportunities.
Yep.
Oh, I spend 50 pages writing about missed opportunities there that and they're really great lessons and I hope if people read that they can take away don't not take advantage of an opportunity, just do it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to become missed one day and then you're going to spend yeah, I had a chance to be in War of the Worlds. Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise. Long
They shot
story.
in Jersey, right?
Yeah, long story. It was filmed in Newark. I'm from Newark. I'm a Newark boy.
Oh, okay.
And they called me twice to, and I'm not an actor, but maybe they wanted my 6'5" height. I don't know, whatever. But missed opportunities. Another missed opportunity is I could have sat in the front row in February 1963 and to see and hear Dr. King speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he spoke at a temple in Newark because he was really good friends with the rabbi there, and that was my temple, and I literally would have sat in the first row. I could have met him, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
So, I'm always curious about this next question. So you're and this is great because deep in my soul, I guess if I came back again, maybe I can become the next John Wayne because I'm as tall as he is, whatever. So how did a group of musicians get into filmmaking?
That's a great question.
And a great answer. And I know you have it, Phil.
If you were a musician, and we've known hundreds of musicians since we were teenagers, I say 90% would write songs or practice and never go anywhere. They would never take the project to fruition. And that's something that's important to me, is to complete a project. But the music alone wasn't going to cut it. So I needed a vehicle to show the music, to let the music play. And that would be some sort of a film or a music video or something. Now, my son Michael, he works for the NHL and he's the creative director of the NHL.
Wow.
I pushed him into editing when he was 11 years old. And he went on to do what he does at the NHL years later. So I forced myself to get back into editing from VCR to VCR to learning the digitized into digital form. So I picked up Final Cut Pro. My son-in-law told me about it. And I went on YouTube University and I spent quite a number of months there. And I must have listened to probably a couple of hundred tutorials. And I finally nailed it down to about 3 or 4 people that really made sense and I picked it up, and I got better as as the years progressed. I'm not a filmmaker, and some of the films in the Garden State Film Festival, you look at these films, these people are filmmakers. They're wonderful, dramatic films. I put clips together, but Calvin, it's the vehicle to get the music heard. And I think it's working.
I have to interrupt you. It's the vehicle to get the music heard, but you've become a filmmaker in the
Yes.
process of getting the music out there. I mean, you've become a filmmaker. We get nominated for filmmaking as well as music. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you don't give yourself enough credit.
You won't
Well,
give the credit. No, no.
humbly,
So you
that's
need
that's
someone
the
to.
story.
You just blew me away, Phil. No, you really did. Because you're talking about Final Cut. When I was doing my journalism and I'm doing all these, going on the road and doing these stories, my mentor and the head of NJ Discover, who's a master filmmaker, master production film, he came over to the house here and he brought his computer and he said, Calvin, I got to teach you Final Cut.
Ah,
This is a true story. By the way, this is a short film, like 3 minutes. Literally 3 minutes. Actually, I'm thinking about that. So he sits there and he starts showing me Final Cut. 3 minutes into it, literally, I said, Kurt, I'm done. This is never going to happen ever.
I know the
It was,
feeling.
anyway, I like this next question. I like it a lot because I identify with it. And it's funny, before I even looked at my notes and stuff, I thought they asked this. Where do you get your inspiration for writing a song and producing short films and the whole creative process? Because listen, I've written 2 novels. That's 10 years, 5 years apiece. Man, you got to have inspirations and you got to have this kind of stuff. So where do you get yours from, Phil?
I think it's basically the stuff we grew up with all our lives and the things that touch us. Like I wrote songs about everybody in my family. My mother-in-law was from Glasgow, Scotland, and when
Wow.
she passed away,
Wow.
I wrote a song called Glasgow Girl, which won a couple of awards for best song. The Beatles, Forever Fab, Old Days, a story about Jimmy and I growing up in Brooklyn and
And
all
Lou.
our friends, and Lou. Um, Wild One, Brando. Friends for Life. When my friend Lenny passed away, I wrote a song about him, Friends for Life. So it's something that happens that touches myself, and then it touches everybody because everybody feels that and puts their part in. Christina with her beautiful vocals in the background, and they go so wonderful with Jimmy. And that's why, like in Gloucester Fisherman, I wanted to climax the song at the end without her singing until the very end to the shout out loud. And she comes in loud and clear and with Jimmy and so that's my inspiration. It's really
Okay.
the people that are close to me, the people I really regard all my life, and it makes it easy to write that way, because it's within you, it's all visceral, and it
Yeah.
just comes out. The words are easy to write because it's all in you.
Okay. Great answer. I didn't know this, and I'm fascinated by this, but you guys send all your work out, your songs to Abbey Road Studios in London. Why there? I guess they're really good.
They're kind of
Yeah,
good, right?
Duh. Uh,
take that.
No, I don't want to touch that. You have a special relationship with Abbey Road that blows my mind.
The first song that I sent to Abbey Road has a service called online mastering, and anybody can upload their song to Abbey Road Studios. You pay the fee, and you get this world-renowned mastering expertise, engineers, and they take a song that's recorded on a 20-year-old computer that literally has to be cranked up to get started. It sounds decent when it leaves here, but when it comes back after they do the mastering, and the mastering is what they call radio ready. It just puts all the emphasis in the song. They know how to EQ it, and let's face it, the Stones, the Beatles, I can go on forever.
yeah, yeah.
So it comes back radio ready, and it sounds fantastic. I would say they're half the responsibility why a lot of this stuff that comes from upstairs in my attic sounds really, it sounds decent. It sounds good. So that's Abbey Road, and then over the years, I've gained relationships with these people, and because I send all my songs there, and it's been, what is it, 10 songs now, 11 songs. So you get emails back and forth, and you get to know the people, and it's a wonderful thing because being a Beatles fan, what does it get much better than that?
Funny, of course I grew up to the Beatles too, and I have in my car I have Sirius, and I just about a month ago I popped on the Beatles station.
Sure.
And that's it, done.
Oh, forget it.
There's no news, there's nothing. It's the Beatles station.
And you know what's even better? They're taking all these recordings because of AI and remastering everything. And I have all the remasters. I have all the originals. I
Wow.
have I have promos that are shrink wrapped because I used to be in the record business and retail before I worked for the government in postal service. Uh,
The FBI.
and
No.
but the things that, and I know these records, Calvin, I know what they sound like. I can give you every nuance of these songs, but when they remaster them, you start hearing things that you never heard before.
Wow.
So it's a whole new world. So all
Mhm.
different generations of people that listen to these songs, they're wowed. They're
Wow.
wowed even before they're remastered, but after they're remastered, and you're hearing all that on FM, on what was it?
Serious?
Sirius,
Yeah.
was it
Yeah.
Sirius?
Oh, it's great to be young, Christina.
Yeah. That's why another reason why she's here.
To bring them
But
into the 21st century.
Yes. Tell me
you're
about
hearing all
that.
the remastered stuff, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful. It really is.
Okay. Two more things. And I think this is great because whenever I do stuff with my son, it's really really special. Not that we do a lot, but we do. He works in TV, and he's very creative. And he actually won the Eisner Award 6 years ago.
Oh,
Uh,
congrats.
Wow.
He, I think it's, yeah, I might as well show it.
Yes.
I might as well show it. I didn't plan on doing this, but since you know what the Eisner Award is, he's a comic book guy and he's creative. And after Hurricane Maria beat the hell out of Puerto Rico, he got together with a bunch of his comic book friends and they decided to do an anthology called Puerto Rico Strong,
Oh
Wow.
boy.
and to give all the proceeds to the children
Oh,
of
that's
Puerto
wonderful.
Rico.
Wow.
So my son was the writer and he was the editor. And they put this all together. It sold out twice on Amazon. And then that summer,
Wow.
he went ahead and he got the Eisner Award, which is the Academy Award of
Wonderful.
comic books. And it's kind
Yeah.
of funny because you open it up and you look at some of the credits. Marco Lopez, Desiree Rodriguez, Derek Ruiz, and Neil
Wow.
Schwartz.
Wow.
You go.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Congratulations. Congratulations.
thank you.
I gotta tell my son that because my son's very big. It makes his own comic book. Very
Oh,
big into
you should
comic books.
tell. And
He's
listen,
just
my son.
starting.
My
Just
son
starting.
is like me in so many ways, and he's always happy to reach out and discuss it because that's part of his life. He graduated college and he wound up in a couple years working for DC Comics in New York.
That's
Wow.
great.
Uh,
Wow.
so that was his love
Amazing.
and his passion. Then he drifted over to CBS and stuff, and now he's with TV. So
You did a great
sure.
job, Calvin.
So it's a great
Really
thing
smart.
working with family and friends and daughter on all these
Yes,
projects.
indeed.
Yep.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yep.
Yes.
Last, you married 52 years, and that's a great number. My wife and I aspire to that in 4 more years. Um, does that stability and energy and passion and all of these wonderful ingredients contribute to your creativity, Phil?
Yeah, I think so, Calvin. I knew my wife before we were married.
Usually you know your wife before you're married.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's why he's here too.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
she went to Baruch, and I met her. I was doing a gig there with somebody, and my friend Jerry, who another one passed away many years ago, he went to Baruch, and he introduced me to Kathy, my wife, and she came to all the gigs I was playing, and she gives me a lot of inspiration, and I think what's more important is that she gives me the time to do what I need to do. And I don't have to tell you, Calvin, it's time consuming.
Mm,
Writing a book,
mm.
painting, it's something, writing a song, it's time consuming. And you can get really hung up in it. And she understood it all these years, and she still does. And, I thank God for that. And, I'm very blessed. I really am. And Jimmy's this, I think, is the same situation.
Well, not really.
Well, not 52 years, but yeah.
Both of mine added up doesn't amount to 52.
Funny.
I think that's basically it, though. Without her, really, I need her to be by my side, and it really works. It just works.
Well said. This has been so special for me. This has been great. By the way, I feel like I've known you guys. I said that earlier. I feel like I've known you, for a long, long time. Maybe I have. I'm spiritual. Maybe, in the universe. The universe is a wonderful place. But this has been great, truly. And listen, I've bonded with you. You send me these emails and these things and communicating. It's like I'm talking to a brother that I don't have. It's really great.
Yeah, we feel the
And
same.
and I so admire and marvel at your accomplishments and what I've seen and heard. So this has been great. I'm officially welcoming you to come back in any shape, way, or form.
Thank
I'm
you.
here. Maybe when that article comes out from the Gloucester Times,
Oh yeah,
whatever, and sit
yeah.
and chat, and I think we can fill up lots more videos. And I think there's so many great messages to come from you and what you all have accomplished. So. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and good luck at the GSFF. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Hey,
Thank you
Calvin,
so much.
can I mention something to you before we leave?
Absolutely.
There's something that I wrote that I'm going to really make it very shorter, shorten, but I think it encapsulates what I want to say. And here it is. It's the creation of a song or a video starts with inspiration and a dream. The ultimate dream is to win a Best in Category award at a prestigious film festival like Garden State. So thank you, GSFF, and to you, Calvin, for this great honor and privilege, and for proving to anyone with a dream you're never too old to create.
Mm.
By the way, that is so well, and I thrive on those words because in August I'm 80. And
Congratulations.
yeah, and I'll swear and listen when I tell people I'm 80. Today I talked to a 22-year-old, and I said I said this, I have a sinking feeling that I'm a half century older than you. Um, she had a hard time processing that a half century. Yeah, but and I think I'm a poster boy because this thing works better than it ever has before. I just published an award-winning second novel, so this thing works really, really well.
That's great.
I'm sharper today, and we all, not so much Christina, I'm not putting you down, but we all have
Okay.
something called crystallized intelligence. And what that is our years of knowledge and living and learning. It's stuck up here, and it's easily retrievable. So as opposed comparing me to a 20-year-old, well, 20-year-old is great. Maybe we have the same writing skills, this, that, but I got something 20-year-old don't have. I got 60 more years on a 20-year-old,
Mm.
and it's all up here.
Yeah.
So, and I've been practicing techniques of longevity since 1969. And it doesn't, it's a process. I decided in 69 I didn't want to age traditionally. That was my thing, and so far so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
It's a
say
pleasure
so.
to know you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Really
So
is.
I'm just going to stop recording. Thank you guys so much. And we'll do a
Thank you.
2-minute wrap.